Light. Let's look at what light is and how light works. Remember, light is extremely important because we talk about photosynthesis. Photo meaning light. Light is the energy source to start the entire process. We've got to figure out what light is and how it works. Light basically is measured on a spectrum. And this kind of gives you a spectrum, and the bottom part starts at 10 to the minus fifth nanometers and goes all the way up to 10 to the third meters. So this is a tremendous variation. Wavelength increases as we go to the right. Energy level increases as we go to the left. And we'll see the difference you get in energy. The bottom part has what we call gamma rays, and gamma rays are very high energy rays. They're emitted by the sun. If you're sitting inside of a building, they're going right through the roof and right through the walls and everything else, and they'll go right through you. They are very high energy. We don't see them because we don't pick them up a little bit. At 10 to the minus third nanometers, we're looking at X-rays. Now you all know that X-rays are very high energy. This is a picture of my left foot that I had an X-ray done. If there's a break or something like that, you'd be able to see the break. You can see the joints, you can see a lot of other things. The X-ray penetrates right through the soft tissue, gets held up by the bone tissue. We have ultraviolet. Ultraviolet is a high energy wavelength. In this particular case, I've got two banknotes. The top one was taken with regular light. The bottom one was taken illuminated with ultraviolet light. On the left-hand side, it says 50. Well, you can kind of see where that is on the top one, but it's not really there. And you can see that it's got little threads in it that are glowing in the dark that don't glow on the upper one. So, ultraviolet, it's a high energy sort of thing. Above the ultraviolet, we have the visible spectrum. The visible spectrum starts at about 380 nanometers, and it goes up to about 750 nanometers. You can see the colors of the spectrum: Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Here's a picture of fall foliage, and you can see all the different colors that are in here: the greens and the oranges and the reds and the yellows and the grays and the browns and everything else. This is what we see when we're perceiving things, and it goes back to that spectrum. We go up one level and it talks about IR. IR stands for infrared. Infrared is basically heat. This is my picture on the infrared spectrum. You can see where the glasses are, we're not getting near as much heat being transmitted. On the rest of you're getting heat being detected. Now, it's converted into a format that is using visible light. The more intense it is, the whiter it would be. Infrared is heat, and we use heat to cook with. And what you see here is a nice picture of infrared, which also shows you visible light coming out of it. It is being used to cook a pizza, and therefore is just right for this picture. We have microwaves. Microwaves are longer wavelengths, and we can use them to excite molecules and things like that, put energy in them, and we do that in the form of a microwave oven. This is warming a cup of water. And then we've got radio waves. And radio waves are much lower energy waves. They go up to 10 to the third meters, which is 1,000 meters, over half a mile. And when we look at radio waves, well, this is a picture of a radio, and it's got different frequencies in it. This particular one picks up FM. There's also AM. And then we've got shortwave radio. We've got TV waves. And all of these are used. And they're all part of this electromagnetic spectrum that we have. When we look at this, we normally deal with the part that's in the visible range because that's what we can see as humans. When light comes down on a surface, one of three things happen to it. It either gets transmitted through the surface, and in this particular case, you can see this particular plant. It is floating on water, and down below it, you can actually see the roots because light is going through the water and reaching the roots. It can either be absorbed, which means that you don't see it anymore, or it can be reflected. Pick this picture for a couple of reasons. Number one is you can see where things might be transmitted. You've got the water there might transmit something. You've got houses with windows, and windows transmit things. You've got absorption. When you look at different parts, you can see light being absorbed, and you've got light being reflected back. You can see the image of the trees on the water. That's being reflected back at you. You can see the fence where it looks like it's very dark. And the reason is because it's not got any light on it that's being reflected back at us. It's actually been painted black, and as such, it's not reflecting light back at us. So we only see it as a blackness. When we look at light, light can be transmitted, it can be absorbed, it can be reflected. We see what is reflected back at us. When we look at the wavelengths we have here, this particular graph shows you that we've got sunlight. Sunlight is interesting because it comes in on the entire range, but what you see is sunlight seems to start out low on the dark ranges, and it goes up on the blue ranges, and then it goes down on the red ranges. Below that, we see three different materials. We have chlorophyll A, we have chlorophyll B, and we have carotenoids. Carotenoids are normally orange in color. Beta-carotene, it's an antioxidant. It absorbs things like light. The carotenoids absorb up to about 500 nanometers. Chlorophyll A, which absorbs in the blue spectrum, it also absorbs in the yellow to orange spectrum up here around 700 nanometers. And you've got chlorophyll B, which absorbs down in the blue spectrum and absorbs in the middle between the 600 and 700 nanometers. Notice that none of the chlorophyll absorbs in between 500 and 600 nanometers. That's the green spectrum. Plants are green because they reflect green light back at us. They absorb the blues and the oranges and the reds, but they reflect the green back at us because they don't use the green. And this becomes very important because when we think about plants, we think plants are green, but where the action spectrum of these actually occurs is in the blues and the reds. When we talk about plants, we talk about photosynthetic active radiation. And photosynthetic active radiation really takes in how much light has been absorbed in one leaf on top of another. As you go down, there is less and less light reaching leaves because it's being filtered out by things on top of it, or it's being reflected back. Light becomes very important to us, and we've got to understand how light works, and we've got to understand how light is absorbed in the different areas.